Good morning, YouTube. It's Sunday. I'm still stuck in December. January 2nd, 2022. Yeah, it's a new year, and based on yesterday, I'm not living it so good. But hey, I'm still here, still alive, still kicking. 2:25 p.m. I had a pretty crazy night last night. And I'm starting my day without my drunk ass didn't. Oh wow, hey, at least I didn't do that. Wow, there's a big whoops. Wow, that whole wall is like leaning sideways. Damn. Oh look, we got another one here. At least this whoever dealing with that wall has at least picked up the broken pieces and picked them up. At least they're gone. But wow. I don't go down this street hardly ever. In fact, I don't know offhand what street this is. I want to say probably 41st Street, but I'm not sure. So I'm just leaving the Wander Inn. And I didn't exactly stay the night there, but it feels like I did. Yeah. Ooh, I found a penny. Good times. All right. It's oh man. I like shocked at myself. I did more drinking on New Year's Day than I did New Year's Eve. Anyway, a little behind on uploading more coins in the street. A little shocked. Sorry, I'm not making a lot of sense today. I'm a little bit hungover. Oh my gosh, there's that dog. I don't know whose dog that is, but I hope he finds his way home. Just before I started shooting this video, the dog nearly got nailed crossing McDowell Road, and I crossed McDowell Road there quite a bit. Because I'm regularly taking the eastbound bus to get from Points West to Wander Inn, and there's the dog. There's a it seems to be walking with purpose. That's a good thing. So there's a bus stop right there, just north of where I'm at right now, in front of the liquor store there. And the bus announcing system announces it as 41st Place in McDowell, which I think the road going north is 41st Place. I'm reasonably sure this is 41st Street. Anyway, I mean, there's what you would consider an implied crosswalk. And for those who don't know what an implied crosswalk is, basically at any point where you have two corners, two intersecting streets, the direct route between one corner and the next corner, or one corner and the street opposite of that corner, in an instance where the street doesn't continue on, which there's two instances of that there, 41st Street and 41st Place. Arizona law very much specifies that there's an implied crosswalk. In other words, even if there's not one painted there, there's one. For example, and I am on 41st Street in Bellevue. And here we have a wheelchair ramp. And the route that I'm walking right now, going across Bellevue, is where the implied crosswalk would be. Now, there's not a wheelchair ramp on the sidewalk opposite where I just joined it, but still that location would be an implied crosswalk. On that note, this guy in the car is blocking the implied crosswalk. You're not supposed to do that. Anyway, so technically there's 4 implied crosswalks crossing Maydell right there. 2 of them for 41st Place, 2 of them for 41st Street. And it's pretty notable because there is a bus stop on each side of the road. So, obviously people are going to be crossing the street there as they depart the bus if they're going to something on the other side of the street. But I tell you, I have so many times where just nearly gotten hit by cars that just refuse to yield to pedestrians in that crosswalk, or even in any shape, way, or form slow down. Last night when I got off the bus was probably the worst because as I'm basically crossing as there's no I start crossing because there's no eastbound traffic to get across, the south half of the road, because the road is super wide, McDowell Road is, and the north half of the road is has got cars on it, and I'm figuring the way it's timed, if I go across the gap, in the rather large gap in traffic, that by the time I get to the middle of the street, all the cars that are headed westbound, there's kind of a group of cars and then a break behind them, that those cars headed westbound would be passed, and I could continue to walk across the street. Yeah, it did not work out like that. All right, let's use another implied crosswalk just to make sure everybody's getting a point as to what an implied crosswalk is. So I'm on Bellevue, crossing 40th Street. This one's going to be pretty easy because there's hardly any traffic on 40th Street, but there are some cars coming. And I can assure you these guys are not going to slow down for me. Nope. That guy on the Mercedes didn't even think about slowing down. But yeah, there's even a wheelchair ramp to indicate where I'm supposed to cross too. But yeah, none of those vehicles even attempted to slow down, although they should have clearly been able to see me in the crosswalk. But yeah, had I not ran, I would have just got plowed down by a Mercedes. And as quickly as they approach me, I'm going to say they're not even doing the speed limit on this road, because I'm reasonably sure this stretch of 40th Street is 35 miles per hour, maybe 40, but they're definitely moving faster than that. Speaking of this stretch of 40th Street, directly ahead of me, that red light directly ahead of me, that is where I got rear-ended in the Saturn. Y'all been following my vlogs that long. That was quite a while ago. It's been over 3 months since I've been able to drive the Saturn. But yeah, somebody, I'm just wondering, they don't even slow down, or they just figure, oh, that guy's walking, nobody should be walking. Or, fuck him, just go faster, he'll get out of the way. I wonder if that's the thought process. Or if the thought process is that they're so fixated on their whatever, their smartphone or their infotainment and their dashboard or whatever, or looking way forward, that they're just ignoring that which is directly in front of them. For instance, I saw a video a few days ago on YouTube where somebody was driving on a freeway doing 65 miles per hour, I would imagine, maybe faster. And she's driving, and there's traffic directly in front of her that is at a complete standstill. Now, I can't tell why they're at a complete standstill, what kind of traffic was causing that, but the lane directly in front of her had several vehicles. They're all at a complete stop, and she just keeps barreling forward at 65 miles per hour, doesn't even, not even a hint at trying to slow down. That's interesting, that gate is open. Kind of want to walk in there and explore it, but I don't have time to waste on that sort of thing today. Anyway, the saddest thing about that whole video, and she rear-ended the vehicle in front of her, who was at a complete standstill, just solidly smashed it, going 65 miles per hour, hit it hard, and hit it so hard that it caused a chain reaction of bouncing it and the vehicle in front of it. And then she was traveling so much that she continued to basically smash it again. Smashed it in the vehicle in front of it, and you could hear a definitely smash type collision as those vehicles hit and pushed both of them forward into the semi, I think, that was in front of them. So yeah, multiple vehicles smashed into each other as a result of one driver who was looking at, I don't know, not looking at the road in front of her at all. And anyway, the saddest thing about this particular video is maybe 5 seconds before impact ish, 4 seconds before impact, you hear a baby. I'm talking like a 2-year-old-ish baby say, "Oh no, mommy." And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, the baby is paying more attention than the adult driving the car. Maybe the baby should be driving the car. Anyway, wondering if like that's really what was going on with that Mercedes that just about plowed me down as I was crossing the street in an implied crosswalk, or if that's what happened when the guy rear-ended me at that intersection that I just went across. Because I don't think that guy slowed down at all. He hit my Saturn pretty damn hard. Fortunately, not going 65, or that would have probably hurt, damaged the car more than it did. But it did quite a bit of physical damage to the car. And for those who don't remember, that was a straight up hit and run. I pulled over, and then, I got out and I asked him what he was, doing. He's like, "Well, I'm pulling over." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go to pull, I get in my car and go to pull over. He drove off. And so we chased each other down this stretch of 40th Street, going south that I'm walking. And if you wonder why I'm walking, it's just because I've kind of learned the hard way that from Wander Inn to my storage, there's absolutely no way to do that by bus. It doesn't take a significantly longer time than walking, which sucks because it's quite a bit of a walk. But anyway, so I chased the guy all the way down to the light. You can see it in front of me. It's quite a ways down there. It's a half mile south of me from here. But chased him all the way down to Van Buren, at which point there were vehicles in the left turn lane. Everybody's at a red light. And he was in the leftmost lane going straight. And I'm trying to get behind him. And he was a ways in front of me because this guy's driving like a bat out of hell, and I'm attempting to do, something similar to the speed limit. And there's a speed limit sign. It is 40 on this road. Anyway, he's doing, he's speeding, trying to get away from me. And, I actually succeeded in getting away from me. But anyway, he goes to the leftmost lane that's going straight south, like you'd be driving a Speedy Street Tacos or something. And coming soon, Highway 202 Business Park. Feels like that sign's been there for a while. Anyway, but then as soon as he got to the intersection, even though there was a red light and it was afternoon rush, there's a significant amount of traffic. It's not packed. This road never gets that much traffic, nor does that stretch of Van Buren, but there's still traffic there. And he just kind of inches out in the intersection, runs the red light, and turns left. From not the left-hand turn lane, because there's two cars, in the left-hand turn lane waiting for the light to change. At which point I was just like, wow. And I just queued up behind the two cars in the left-hand turn lane. At this point, I'm already on the phone with police, trying to give them a description. But at this point, I've also realized that this guy has no license plate, so I can't give them a plate number. And the description I gave them was pretty vague. Not really that into SUVs, so it's a white SUV. I can describe the kind of I had a spare tire rack on the back, and I was able to describe that. But I wasn't really to give them a whole, not a particularly helpful description at all, just because it wasn't very much distinct about the vehicle. Maybe a wound on its front bumper because it just rear-ended me doing about 40 miles an hour without even slowing down. Like, what's this guy looking at? I don't know, but he wasn't looking at the road. Anyway, when the light turned green and I went across the street, it was just, he was nowhere to be seen. He had already gotten far enough away from him that I never did see him at that point. I just ended up going to the Circle K at 44th and Van Buren and waiting a ridiculously long amount of time for a police officer to come and take a report and tell me there's nothing I should do, that I should contact my insurance company. Yeah, I just showed you my proof of insurance. I don't know what date is on the proof of insurance, but that guy's flying down the road with a flat tire. Driving down the road with a flat tire. Amazing. Just the stupidity that I see on the people that are driving all the freaking time. And the negligence. Anyway, yeah, they said they couldn't do anything, call your insurance. And it's like, dude, look at what kind of a car I'm driving. What makes you think that I have full coverage insurance on a 2006 Saturn? Is there anything on my proof of insurance that I gave you that would suggest that I have full coverage insurance? To be honest, I've never really looked at those papers close enough to see if they say exactly what coverage you have, but I think they do. Anyway, yeah. I told the guys, I need to get that guy's insurance. That guy is liable for my damage, not my insurance. I didn't hit him, he hit me. And they're like, well, we don't really have enough to go on. Maybe we'll see him, we'll be looking for him. Sure you will. Anyway, of course, that guy was never caught. I never did find him again. I was hoping I would find him personally, and I did look for him quite a bit in a couple weeks after that. Thought I saw him one time, but the time I got turned around to head in the direction he was going, he was long gone. Yeah. Sucks. Of course, the damage to my rear bumper is the least of my problems with the Saturn right now. So, still waiting for the motor that's allegedly been purchased. It's been paid for. It's allegedly been purchased. I say allegedly because I haven't actually seen the motor. But I want to believe the motor's actually been purchased and that money wasn't spent on something else. But I haven't got the vehicle back. The phone number that my mechanic would call me on, it's been disconnected, so he can't really call me or text me. That's the only way he knows to get a hold of me, other than going through my girlfriend, whom he told on Monday that it would be done last week. And then on Wednesday, when she texted to say, hey, when this week, he hasn't, as far as I know, hasn't responded to that text. At least that's what she told me a couple of days ago. So I don't know what's going on with my car. And the shitty thing is I had prepaid for 6 months of insurance. And yeah, I didn't even, over half of that insurance payment, I haven't even got to drive it. And as if that's not shitty enough, that I paid for so much insurance that I haven't even been able to use, and of course, I don't dare just cancel the insurance because the insurance I have, what do you call it? The insurance I have is, the way it works in Arizona is if you cancel your insurance, the insurance company has some way of messaging the DMV, or the MVD, it's called here in Arizona. They message them to let the motor vehicles department know that you've canceled your insurance, and then they cancel your registration, which of course I've paid for. I mean, in spite of the fact that the vehicle hasn't been drivable for 3 months, it's still registered. It's still, and so I'm screwed by the fact I've paid for insurance that I'm not able to use, but I get screwed even harder if I try to cancel that insurance and get a rebate, because then I'll end up having to pay penalty fees from the motor vehicle division. I know it's I don't know. I still kind of look at it as a systemic assault on me for being poor. It just seems like there's so many additional, it seems to me like shit like that should be prorated. You shouldn't have to pay for stuff you're not using, but it ends up working the other way around. If you attempt to not pay for stuff you're not using, you end up paying more in penalties than had you just paid for the stuff you're not using. which is just super shitty for me as a being that I'm in a financial position that I just really can't afford to fix it. And if somebody was wealthier, they'd had it fixed by now. So it's just, I don't know, it sucks. I mean, at least my registration is fairly inexpensive, being that it's an older vehicle. I mean, I've heard of friends that have newer vehicles and their registration is a lot more expensive than mine is. But, their registration is for a vehicle they're actually driving, and I've been walking now for 3 months. So, yeah, not happy about that. Oh, gosh, I managed to rant about that for damn near a mile. I made it to Van Buren. We got another half mile of walking to go. Actually, it's a little more than a half mile. Half mile mark would be 36th Street, and a used store is actually at 35th Street. Anyway, I like how it says Van Buren Street etched into the the cement there. Oh, and this is more of the canalscape, the Grand Canalscape bikeway multi-use. I can't really see my screen, so hopefully I'm getting that image in there. The old City of Phoenix logo at the top. All right, we got construction signs just tossed in the canal. It's awesome how everything's just taken care of here. But hey, the ducks look happy. So good for the ducks. Anyway, I should really make some effort to get my bike usable. That would probably make things helpful. As much as I'm just, I don't know. Honestly, my biggest issue with riding a bike at this point, I'm kind of out of shape. That half mile run, or the quarter mile run that I did yesterday, left me hacking and wheezing for like 45 minutes. So, yeah, probably. Oh gosh, so yeah, I'm not in the best shape for biking. But honestly, to me, the biggest issue with biking is that when you ride a bike, there's just not often a secure place to put your bike. And it's easy to say, well, get a bike lock, and I do have a bike lock. But one thing that I see a lot of while I'm walking around is completely stripped out frames locked to bike racks. So a bike lock isn't really a guarantee of anything. And homeless people just steal bikes like crazy, and parts of bikes. I mean, that's why at most homeless encampments you'll see piles of bicycle parts. So yeah, isn't that fun? All right, wow, 23 minutes of video I wasted here. Should probably explain where I went last night. My memories are kind of fuzzy, but to the best of my recollection, one of the regulars, whose name I don't even know, it's just one of those persons, there's certain people that you see them all the time, and you don't really know them, but you always are cordial and say hi, one of those people. Anyway, I've had conversations with her, but I couldn't tell you her name off the top of my head. I think if somebody said her name, it might jar my memory, because I know I've been told her name. Anyway, Priscilla did show up maybe about an hour after I got to the bar. Like, she'd messaged and asked why, but she managed to call me on the using the call feature of Snapchat, which I don't understand why when Priscilla calls me, I can for some reason, whenever somebody calls on Snapchat, regardless of how I left the setting, it always answers the call in speakerphone mode, which is annoying to say the least. And it always takes me a while to figure out, once I've managed to answer the call, how the hell to switch it to where it's not on speakerphone mode, to where I can put the phone up to my ear and actually hear the call. And then every time Priscilla calls, and I don't understand why she still insists on using this, because it happens every time. Instead of just sending me a text message and waiting for me to respond. But yeah, the call, like I can, once I manage to get it off speaker and I hold it up to my ear, I can barely hear her, which means if I'm at any place that isn't really quiet, I can't make out even what she's saying. And I don't know if that has something to do with her settings in her app. I don't think it's anything to do with settings in my app, because my daughter occasionally calls me that way. And once I get it off speakerphone, I can usually hear her just fine. So, not sure what's up with that. But yeah, she called. Yeah, it's not a parking spot, dude. All right. I don't understand why that person was at a complete stop in the travel lane. That happens. I was going to walk on up to the Hawk, but this looks like a nice gap in traffic to get across at. And I'm sort of at an implied crosswalk, although judging from the street sign there, cars just plow into stuff here. So, and the street sign just plowed into. Got a bus stop here. So yeah, this is. And interestingly enough, where the implied crosswalk would come across, there's not a direct connection to the sidewalk. So, yeah, Phoenix pedestrian infrastructure sucks. Although I've seen videos of places where it's a lot worse, and this is a million times better than that access road on the west side of the I-17 between Camelback and Bethany Home. I'm just walking that a couple times lately, and I'm just flabbergasted at just how inadequate and outright dangerous it is, especially the way that one little piece of sidewalk just ends into a big hole without any kind of lighting or any way to let people know that, hey, you're gonna fall in a hole and hurt yourself. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, anyway, Priscilla called me. Wow, 27 minutes. It's going to be a while till this video gets uploaded. Yeah, Priscilla called, and actually, come to think of it, it hasn't been as bad lately because I did drop my resolution on this phone to 720p. All right, I just got like a notice that my battery's getting low, so that sucks. Wow, which kind of means I'm not going to be able to do what I was hoping to do. I was planning on coming over to walking to package store and getting on the Offer Up app and trying to sell some boxes, which I mentioned a while back. I've been thinking about doing. I've got nice pictures taken, and just maybe sell some boxes and maybe some other stuff while I'm there. But I got a feeling by the time I get there, this thing is going to be dead, which means I'll have no internet connection because there's no Wi-Fi there, and the other Obama phone is still completely shut down. Oh well, that's all right. I got some stuff in my bag that I need to drop off at storage, and the weather is nice and it's sunshiny, so at least I can move some of the stuff from the unit that I didn't manage to get emptied last month and my other unit. At least I can make some progress at that, and that's certainly a worthwhile effort. And I've already walked this far, so I should do something while I get here. Of course, at this point, the main goal is just not to be around Priscilla. It just makes me insanely frustrated when she just, I don't know. I just feel like she's taunting me with her body. I can't think of any other way to explain it, and maybe that makes me insane, but the whole you can look but you can't touch thing is just, you know what, if I can't touch, I just as soon not have to look. It makes it easier for me. At one point she was like, well, you should work on cleaning your room, or when are you gonna handle this laundry and the stuff in your room? I'm like, well, once I get my car. Well, you don't need your car to do that. I mean, I need my car to do that, if for no other reason than I'm in such a, psychological place without it that I just feel so, I just don't have the emotional strength to fuck with it without my car. That's a big part of it. But then a lot of it kind of boils down to, as I'm trying to organize stuff in my room, there's too much stuff in my room. Some of that stuff needs to be removed from my room, and it's very difficult for me to move that stuff without my car. It's also very difficult to go to the laundromat without my car. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Anyway, she had called me with I could barely hear her as I was on the McDowell bus, the Snapchat app. And she said, "Were you going to wander in?" I'm like, "Yeah, heading there." And she said that she'd be there. I was there a good solid hour before she showed up, and I didn't get there till nearly 10, so whatever. To be honest, I didn't really talk to her much while I was there, and a lot of that just kind of stems to the fact that I'm just so frustrated with her and her stance of don't touch. Like, you know, you climb in bed naked with me while I'm naked. It should be expected that touching is on the that guy is speeding in a big way. Dang. It should be expected that touching is an option. So yeah, I'm just really not wanting to be there. I'm just not. So she ended up leaving. Got there late, ended up leaving about an hour before, and again, like, well, I don't feel good, so I don't want you touching me. I'm just gonna curl up fully clothed in blankets. And I'm like, okay, that's not really appealing. Doesn't really make me want to leave with you right now. And at that point, I mean, she walked up and she saw that I still had like nearly a full pitcher of beer. I still had songs in, chatting with my friend Dave. So like, no, that doesn't make me want to leave with you. Have a good night. And yeah, shoot, I had some mutual friends that came in before she showed up, after I showed up, or maybe they're already there when I showed up. I'm not very clear on that right now, but asked me where Priscilla was, and I'm like, no idea. Said she'd be here. Obviously she's not. I'm like, well, aren't you with her? I'm like, well, I haven't been at home with her. She's not exactly doing the sort of thing that makes a man want to stay at home with her. And they both kind of nodded, and because I think they know at this point. So yeah. All right, I'm at 32 minutes. I should really wrap this up, but now I know how long it takes to walk from Wandor. Again, there was a little bit of, I didn't start the video immediately, but pretty close. I think 35 minutes is a pretty fair rough estimate how long that walk took. Yeah. Dang it. I didn't do that right. Anyway, but I made it. Of course, if I was driving, that would have been taking me all of like 3 minutes. But anyway, I'm gonna unload some stuff here. I'll probably keep shooting video just because it kind of helps me pass the time and keep my sanity. What little bit is left of it. And as far as like as behind as I am on uploading videos at this point, a lot of that's just due to the, I have my best Wi-Fi at home, and I'm not trying to be home, so I'm kind of at the mercy of when I have available Wi-Fi. And since the first Obama phone got shut down, I no longer have the surprisingly fast and free unlimited hotspot. So things get uploaded when they get uploaded. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with me on the walk.